Alright, so this is how you set up your gradebook in my backpack. You can see I'm already logged in through the CSM main page. I've also created a shortcut to my backpack up at the top, which I'd be happy to show you how to do. And that's a quick way to click right into it. And I'm also logged in right now under Sheila Cruz just as a demonstration. And after I'm done, I will delete all my changes to make sure Sheila can set up how she likes. To set up your gradebook, this is the very first thing you'll want to do when you log into my backpack. And you're going to go under My Classes to Daily Gradebook. And if you are used to this system, you're used to having your classes set up already and being up at the top. But they're not there because they've not been set up. And so notice ungraded classes. These are Sheila's two classes this year, Physics Period 2, Physics Period 3. And so to set them up, to get them up to the top where you're used to them, you're going to click on New Gradebook. Okay? So here, they're going to allow you to change the name of the gradebook. And right now, it's a pretty long and long-winded sort of description. And I'm going to delete it. And you can do it to whatever you like, whatever system you like. But something simple like that is usually what I do for my classes, just to kind of clarify so that I can navigate between them quickly. And then this down here is very important, based on template. And you have several options. The AP template is for any AP class. So that one's important for any AP class. Choose that one. A default template is going to be any other class that's not an AP class that is going to have a midterm and final exam. So these are year-long. Most of our classes are default classes. And then the elective template is going to be a class that does not have a midterm or final exam. These are going to be things like health, PE, music, anything, photography, art, that is not going to have students sit for a 2-hour exam. So in physics instance, it is a default template. So that is what I'm going to choose. I'm going to go to next. I'm going to leave all this here. I don't really know what that does. Click finish. And now you are logged into your gradebook as you will see it for the rest of the year. You'll notice the quarters. You don't have any assignments yet. Quarter 1, quarter 2, exam 1, your student roster, the number of students over on the left. And then your drop-down menu. And notice I only have one class because I have not set up the other class. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. To finish your setup of the gradebook, go to Setup. Up at the top, this is where you can make changes throughout the year if you like. And you can see on this first tab here, Assignment Groups, we have some default categories already set up for you. And if you like these categories, if you're going to use all these categories, great, fine. Let's say you're not going to have papers in your class, you're going to have projects. And so you can change any of these categories. You can change the abbreviation however you like. Maybe that's how you want to abbreviate projects. And I would not touch any of these checkboxes. Leave them as they are. If you only have, let's say you're not going to have a quiz category, you don't want it there, you can click delete and it'll go away. Let's say, oh, I made a mistake, I actually am going to have quizzes. Down at the bottom, or any other category, you can create a new category. So let's say you wanted 5, 6, 7 categories up there. I can re-add quizzes here. Click on abbreviation, QZ. Notice I need to check my homework box here so that it shows up. I'm going to leave all this the same, and I'm going to click Add. And notice it goes back up to the top. In terms of if you're going to use category weights, if homework is going to be worth 20%, projects 30%, test 50%, whatever, you're going to enter them here. And you just enter them as such, 20 there, projects 30, test 40, quizzes 10. All right. Notice I didn't put any percentage, 10, 3, 20, 30, 40, 10. Make sure it adds up to 100. And notice this star here is the default. And so if you're going to have these same weights all year, you don't have to enter them all 4 times. You just enter it 1 time under quarter 1, and it will automatically treat those as the defaults for the whole year. If you're going to change your categories at any point, let's say you want a different weighting quarter 3 because you're going to do a research paper, and that's going to be more important than maybe it was in quarter 1. You can change the weights, but to be safe, I would go ahead and enter all the weights in all these boxes. So if quarter 2 is going to stay the same, I would do 20, 30, 40, 10, and then change it here. And if you wanted to go back to what it was, enter what it was, so you would need to fill these in if you're going to change. 2 more things on this screen. This drop scores, I would not use this feature. I've seen it be very glitchy for teachers. There's a way to do it manually in your gradebook, and if you do want to drop the lowest quiz grade or something like that, do it manually. Do not check these boxes. And then this max points is kind of helpful. If your homework is always going to be out of 10 points, enter 10. And that way it'll save you a step. And let's say tests are always going to be 100 points. You can create 100 points and be there. And every time you create a test, it'll be worth at 100 points. If you click submit, you are good to go, and you can start creating assignments. One last thing here, two more things really. This is assuming the default setting is category weights. That is the most common setup for grades that I typically see with teachers. But let's say you want to do total points. Total points is where there's really just one big bucket and everything is worth the same in terms of the category, and you can make things that worth 5 points, 10 points, 100 points to kind of create that weighting. But there's not categories that are forcing a set percentage. So if you want to go total points, under grade calculations, if you're not going to do total points, you don't have to ever look at this screen, honestly. But if you do want total points for quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, just the 4 quarters, under this calculation, assignment group weight calculation, you're not going to want that. You're going to want total point calculation. Okay? And you're going to click submit, and you'll notice it's changed. And again, if you're going to do total points, make sure quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. You will still have assignment group weight calculation for semester 1, semester 2, and final exam. So don't change it for everything, just for the 4 quarters. Okay? And again, you can vary that. I would probably keep the same thing, either all year total points or all year category weights. One more thing that you may like, special scores. A lot of teachers like this. If a student's not turned in an assignment yet, and you don't want to enter a 0 because that may be confusing because maybe they got 0 points out of the assignment and they did turn it in, you can create some special scores. And there's 2 here that I've used. I don't know if these are just default or these are things I've created, and it's remembering from my setup. But excused, this is for, let's say a student's absent and you don't want them to make it up. Whatever you want it to type into the gradebook, you can type EX. The name is excused. Check the excused box. Don't type anything in. And that's it. If you decide you don't want that, you can delete it. Another one is M for missing. Let's say the student's absent. You do expect them to take the test, but in order to kind of remind them that that test is missing, you can put in an M. And the M stands for missing, and that M is counting as a 0. So their grade will drop significantly with that 0. And then I check this not turned in box just to, I think that prompts them somewhere that they're missing an assignment. Again, once you've made all your changes, click submit. And again, you're back at it. All right. Now, we've just set up one gradebook to save you a step. If you have multiple classes that are the same, I went back to the home setting. I'm going to go back to daily gradebook. Notice my period 2 physics is up at the top where you'd expect it, but physics 3 is still down at the bottom. So I need to set up that gradebook. Physics period 3. Notice I've now got another option in my drop-down. I have the 3 template still, and then I have the physics period 2 template. And presumably, if you're teaching multiple sections of the same course, which most teachers do at least a couple times, you can just copy everything we did from period 2 physics to period 3 physics. Since you would want those gradebooks set up the same, I'm going to click finish, just like we did before, and notice again, new roster, new students. I click on setup. Look how beautiful this is. All my categories are here, my MAC points are here, my grade calculation, I fixed that. The special scores is how it was. And so once you set up one gradebook, you can copy it. And notice now you have the drop-down menu of multiple classes. So that is how you set up your gradebook. From there, most of you will know how to create assignments and begin populating your gradebook. I'll create a different video for how to create assignments for those who may need that. But thanks, and I hope that helps. Have a great day.